Hello everyone, it's Jeb Hanwerger, GoldStockTrades.com, coming to you at the weekend on Friday, September 4th, right before the Labor Day weekend. Remember, Monday is a closed holiday, Labor Day in the U.S. and Canada. It's a long weekend, it's the end of summer, and we expect a lot more interest to return to the sector. That's why we're seeing a lot of volatility this week. Investors are rotating and getting ready for the end of summer. And we see this week the most noticeable rotation. Look at the volume and the sell-off in the NASDAQ. The tech stocks, led by a few small handful of stocks, have really had a dramatic run since the beginning of this coronavirus quarantine. Everyone's going on their computers and cell phones, going to school. Other parts of the economy, bricks and mortar, are shutting down. Tech had a huge parabolic run. And even on our Twitter this week, while it was making its run higher into record territory, we were prepared almost to the day of the next sell-off. And boy, did we see this sell-off on huge volume. So this is important to watch. This is the highest volume sell-off that we've seen since the coronavirus. PEs are very high. Lots of insider selling. Jeff Bezos was selling last month. Please be cautious with the tech stocks. Remember, the speculative money that goes into the tech stocks also is the speculative money that goes into the junior miners. The tech and the junior miners continue to battle for that capital. Right now, it's gone into the tech area this past month as it went parabolic, but that may have changed in early September with this two-day sell-off. It seems to be the highest volume. The trend, it hasn't broken the 50-day moving average yet, but whenever you see this sort of distribution, it's time to get a little cautious. Let's take a look at the gold chart. After hitting a major overbought extended move up to 2,000 plus, gold has spent the last pretty much of August, the past 4 weeks, consolidating. And, you know, I was always cautious whenever you have an extended move like that. It's time to wait until it pulls back to the moving averages, and you see here, the 50-day is moving up closely. The overbought condition has been basing nicely, so we may be on the verge of another buy signal, short-term buy signal in gold, if we can get the momentum going post Labor Day. As you can see here, it was down, and then we had a reversal towards the end of the week. It closed in the green, up 50 cents today, gold, at the end of the week. So, quite positive. We're looking to see some major support come in at the 50-day moving average like we saw in June. And then we saw that gold break up and move, advance rapidly to that new high past 2,000. Then it sort of stalled here for a couple of weeks, regaining, consolidating, ready for its next leg higher, which could be starting after the weekend. Going to be looking to see if this MACD can start curving higher and possibly go into positive territory over the next week. Looking at the GDXJ, the Junior Gold Miners ETF, notice here, it was down 39 cents, but look at the hammer that was created, closing near the high of the day. And if you notice here, we're getting very close to a positive turn here in the junior gold miners. So for the past 4 weeks, the junior gold miners have been in correction mode and has been ho-hum, as some have said. But we had, remember here in June, we had a consolidation, and you can see the long-term uptrend in the 50-day moving average acting completely fine and healthy right now, so nothing to be nervous at. Matter of fact, we may see a bounce off this 50-day into new highs, possibly beginning post-Labor Day. And nothing looks wrong with silver to me. Silver made a huge breakout at the end of July into early August. Overbought short term, way above the 200-day and 50-day moving average, consolidating nicely. 50-day close, catching up. We're not in overbought conditions anymore. The best thing silver can do is consolidate here and pause before the next major move breakout past $27 on the SLV, which could take it to its next major move. We went from $11 to $17. Then we went to $17 to $27, and there's no reason why we couldn't go into the high $30 level on silver's next move, and possibly if gold is breaking out and testing all-time highs at 2,000. There's no reason why silver can't be testing those 2011 highs too at $50 in the next few months. So silver could be the next big winner. It's already more than doubled off its lows in March, but it could be doubling again. So we're closely monitoring the silver sector, and we have a lot of positions in our silver stocks which have soared in the past couple of months. Also, we like the copper miners. Look at the chart here. The copper miners are this long 45-degree trend up higher. So strong that he hasn't even tested the 50-day moving average yet, but a lot of these junior copper miners that are hitting high-grade results and drilling right now are completely ignored. Keep a close eye next week on a couple of companies which, again, I have a conflict of interest of share positions in and have been sponsors or will be sponsors, maybe, possibly. So I have a conflict of interest, but Sun Metals is drilling. We should be expecting news. A lot of these assay labs have been backed up. GSP Resources, GSPR on the venture, they should be starting to drill soon. They received drill permits, and they're right next to Tech's largest copper mine, the Highland Valley copper mine. So there's a lot of copper stories which I like right now, including Free Gold Ventures, which has one of the best U.S. copper porphyries in Alaska, Shorty Creek, backed by South 32. So the copper stocks, especially in mining-friendly areas, because even in Peru, which people think is a mining-friendly jurisdiction, one of the largest copper mines, Las Bambas, there's a lot of community issues. So copper is going to become a big story. There's issues in Escondida, there's issues at Grausberg. The copper supply, as you can see by this chart, and the copper miners, is going to be an area of strength and one that we need to keep on monitoring closely. Take a look here at the Palladium chart, which we thought we would have a breakout. We saw a high volume breakout here past 2,400. Here we're looking at the Palladium ETF at 220 here. And we thought that would take us to test those old-time highs around 2,700. We think that Palladium, and there's many analysts and banks have say that Palladium could make a run up to 3,500 even before year-end, like silver. So we have, a lot of exposure to Palladium and some of the junior miners that have tons of copper and Palladium. One that we've looked at and we've highlighted this week. Lots of insider buying, drilling away, and they're at the feasibility stage. The best Palladium in North America, Generation Mining, which I have a share position. They're a sponsor. Please take a look at Generation Mining. It's still very cheap. It's backed by Eric Sprott. He paid a lot higher prices for the stock. The symbol is GENM on the Toronto Stock Exchange. Just like to update a few positions in our featured list. Rockridge Resources, they've had some interesting breakouts. It's consolidated for the past week or two, but they received a drill permit for their phase 2 that's following up on a high-grade gold discovery where they hit over around 28 grams per ton gold over 6 meters. Shallow vertical depth, only 95 meters, which was significant. They're following up. They're drilling right between Newmont and IM Gold near Timmins. The symbol's Rockridge Resources. ROK on the venture. ROCK on the TSX venture. Next on the top right, we have Enduro Metals, which just closed a significant private placement raising over 11 million, I believe, led by Rob McEwen, a famous junior gold mining investor. This company's got a really unique exploration strategy, which allows the technical team to refine the targets, and drilling's already well underway. We expect some significant news coming from the Golden Triangle. They had some really great results in early July, which sparked a rally. But since then, we've been waiting to get a secondary buying point up, and we see here some nice movement here and a nice reversal at the 50-day moving average. So could see some more results from the Golden Triangle. So keep a close eye on Enduro Metals. The symbol's ENDR on the TSX Venture. One that we've mentioned here is called Freeman Gold. The symbol's FMAN. They're starting a drilling program right now in Idaho. They look like they're going to follow Midas Integra. Might be even better. They are following up on some historic drilling intercepts, almost 200 meters of 2-gram gold in mining-friendly Idaho. The CEO, Will Randall, in August bought 50,000 shares at 56 cents. The stock's trading 52 cents, so you can get it cheaper than the CEO. They're completing work for a maiden NI 43-101 compliant gold resource, focusing on the near-surface oxide. And they're drilling these historical intercepts, which are very impressive in Idaho. I've been following Allegiant Gold AU on the TSX Venture for a couple of years now, but it appears that it's finally turning the corner here. Allegiant has 4 projects farmed out, and three of them are going to be drilled over the coming month. In addition, they're going to be drilling themselves 15,000 meters at their east side, their flagship project this season. They just signed a deal with Suma Silver, which is a Sprott Money pick. Gold's breaking out, and these guys have a great position in Nevada. Insiders have been buying, which is good news, and they should be hearing news with one of their partner projects, the Bolo project with New Placer Dome. Plus, I expect to hear some more deals announced, and we did a recent interview with the CEO, so I encourage you to check out Allegiant Gold, which can be traded as AU on the TSX Venture. Keep a close eye on Triumph Gold. They just announced they concluded an exploration program of some near-surface high-grade gold targets on the Free Gold property. This is a pretty impressive property that got the interest of Newmont and some majors up in that Yukon area where there's that big coffee deposit and Western Copper. But Triumph has kind of been ignored, but it's got a great gold-copper potential. And the previous management was going after these long gold-copper intercepts at depth. But there's a lot of high-grade gold on the property near surface that has been ignored, and which the company has decided to focus on this season. I just saw they posted on Twitter that it's concluded and the assays are in the lab. I wouldn't be surprised if they came out with a surprise with some high-grade gold numbers up in the Yukon. And finally, keep a close eye on GSPR Resources. They received their drill permit. They did 3D modeling on this project that's right next to the Highland Valley Copper, Teck's Highland Valley Copper Mine, which is their largest flagship copper project in BC. They're adjacent, and you can see on the map, if you follow them on their website, gspresources.com, you'll see how the Highland Valley Mine is extending close to the Alwyn Mine, and this deposit hasn't been drilled in over 10 years, and the last operator before the last credit crisis hit some high-grade I believe it was almost 7% copper, 6.3% copper over close to 3.5 meters. So high-grade copper is very, you see some people promoting 1% copper, but when you get to 5 to 6% copper, this gets a lot of interest because you can really get some great numbers, economic numbers from high-grade copper, which we're looking at. And this, it doesn't just have copper, it also has some silver as well. And we're excited to hear that they've gotten a drill permit, that they did their 3D interpretation is critical. That's where you see a lot of companies, when they come up with a 3D interpretation, it helps target the drilling. And we're hopeful that they can be successful this season. Very tight share structure. And we should have an update coming out on GSP next week. And there's so much more news to discuss, and so many great companies, and so much drill news that the assay labs have been backed up on. And here in Canada, there's a lot of these labs are having a hard time with finding good workers, and people coming to work. The assay labs have been backed up. I know a lot of subscribers have been asking me, oh, we expected news. And even this week we had some good news. We saw BlackRock came out with good results, and the market ignored it. We saw Maritime came out with great results, and the market, sort of ignored it as well. But we did have a volatile week. There were a lot of margin calls, 500 point down day in the NASDAQ, 5% down day on the NASDAQ. We expect to be more volatility going into the October months, but we're in the right place, which is the metals. So that is, the hard assets are going to be a good place to be, because they're spending so much money and throwing so much money at this crisis. Billions and billions, trillions of dollars all around the world, and you can see that it's just causing the dollar and all the fiat currencies to crash. Best way to hedge against that, in my book, is to find wealth in the earth assets and companies that are doing a good job and working hard to build value for shareholders by advancing and developing those wealth in the earth assets, and either through drilling or through economic studies or through metallurgical studies. That's what we're investing in, and that's what we're following. These are just excerpts of a few companies that have come to mind but there's been so much more. And we love so many companies and what they're doing and what they're working on. And we're so grateful that we've been involved in some of the lowest cost gold mines that have come into production, and companies that are in construction right now that we found at an early stage. And continue to do your homework, continue to learn, continue to try to get in early with great people, honest people, hardworking people, with great assets and safe jurisdictions. And we're continuing to follow a lot of these great stories. And we're getting into an important time of the year, the post-Labor Day. Very important time that we expect a lot of investors to come back, to see that the gold and silver prices have broken out, to see there's been a lot of volume selling in the tech stocks that are way overbought. The PE levels on Tesla and Amazon.com and way overbought. And we're finally seeing value investors following investors like Warren Buffett, legendary investors like Warren Buffett, value investors like Barrick and Barrick behind companies that we own that are in our portfolio. New Legacy, Precipitate, in Dominican Republic, New Legacy in Nevada, and Loncore in Africa. Follow those majors, follow those mid-tiers. What are they investing in? Continue to look at insider buying and insider selling. We've seen insider selling in the tech stocks, but we're seeing some insider buying, and I highlighted that with Allegiant and Freeman and others that I can't think of right off the top of my head. Generation Mining, that has had insider buying. And again, if you're a CEO and you've been buying, let me know. And you're listening, let me know, and I'll try to make sure that I share that with my subscribers. Remember, we had a great interview with Allegiant Gold CEO who was once a fund manager. The first question you got to ask management is, do they have skin in the game and what they paid for it? And not just penny shares that they issued themselves, but real skin in the game. That's so crucial in this business. So thank you so much for tuning in and subscribing to goldstocktrades.com. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the end of summer. Hopefully you get some time outside with family, barbecuing, or eating together, spending time together, exercising together, being active together. And we should have only good times ahead and prosperous times ahead. Have a wonderful weekend.